share the sign up link to your communities, please, if you like, so that everyone can join. Mhm. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. So, in order not to waste time, so we'll just go straight to it. Let me share my screen. Super, 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 super excited. Hope everyone is good as well. Mary, it's good to see you again. I think it's been a while. Are you in Nigeria like this? You don't jack like that too.
Same here. I'm still in Nigeria.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session. So we're currently live on YouTube so that other people will be able to watch it. I think over 40 people signed up. So we'll just share that across the organization. So hopefully they will be able to join in as well. So in order not to waste our time, why am I having this session? So for those of us that don't know me, so I'm the founder of both Executives Up Initiative and ASAD. So ASAD means Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad. And, we just had like a strategy meeting. I just realized that, it seemed like there were a couple of issues or challenges that volunteers had. And I just said, let me reach out to some of the old volunteers that were able to do stuff despite, having to deal with all of these challenges. Maybe they can share a few things that might sort of inspire people as well, so that they just understand what exactly is going on, especially when it comes to volunteering, right? Because for us in our own organization, right, we don't pay people. People are volunteering their time. And so we sort of created a system where people can, they are going to give 2 hours of their time. You let them know what they're supposed to do. But for some one reason or the other, people are not able to deliver within this timeline. They don't communicate, they don't talk. And then when certain actions are taken, everybody's now upset, like, oh, what's going on, right? And so just being able to navigate with the need for us to have, all of these structures in place so that we can be able to do what we have to do, basically, right? So I'm just sharing my screen now so that people can see, but I'm going to have to stop so that I'm able to add, members of the panel or the session to the screen as well. So the essence of this is just to hear from, the old volunteers. How was it like, having to work with the organization, having to do everything that needed to be done? So in order not to waste time, what I'm going to do now is just briefly just call on everybody. And as I call you, please switch on your video so that people can see you guys and know that you are real. Um, just a quick background, right? So, Executives Open Initiative is a non-for-profit that started in 2013. Focus is to see how we can help orphans, orphanages, prisons, as well as communities, as well as also, fundraising for cancer, sickle cell, and mental health related issues. While Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad has to do with mental health, right? How do we come up with solutions in the mental health space? So, in the audience this evening, we have Bio, aka BioSpeed. It was the former director of programs from the year 2019 to 2021. Thank you so much, Bio, for joining. You also have Timmy Vaughan, who has been was the former assistant coordinator since 2019 to 2024, still supporting. You also have Abisola Adeniji, who was the former financial secretary from 2021 to 2022. And then you have Adedolapo, who was also the former director of programs last year, 2023 to 2024. And then you have Mary. Mary came in for 3 months in 2022. And it was really nice. And you also have Abisoye, who was head of programs from 2021 to 2022. And then Miriam, who was the former head of welfare, basically, right? So I already sent you guys the pre-planned questions. So what I'm going to do is I just want to ask all of these questions and then I'll stop sharing my screen for a while. So these are the questions all of us are going to answer quickly, right? So you're going to tell us your experience working with either Executives Up in Initiative and Anti-Suicide and Depression Squad. Tell us some of the highlights you had in both organizations. I know some of us worked across both organizations. Also tell us some of your challenges. So that's the first part of the question. Then the next question is talk about how the structures and systems, sort of, helped you in your role. Did it help you in your role in any way? If you can tell us. And then tell us some of the key issues you faced as a volunteer and how did you overcome them? And also provide us with examples where you thought like, all hope was lost, maybe it was a project and then things sort of worked out. And also tell us how important was it for you working with like-minded people in the organization. Right? I know it might seem like it's unfair. How do you combine 5 questions because of time, basically? So I already sent it to you guys. I'm happy to repeat it. So I'll just take it quickly, right? So everyone is going to talk one by one. So you're going to share your experience with working with the organization, either ASADS or EHI. Tell us some of your highlights if you remember and some of the challenges you had to face. And also tell us how the structure and the systems in the organization sort of helped you during your time there. Also, what were some of the key issues you faced as a volunteer and how did you overcome them? And then also provide us with examples when you thought all hope was lost. How did you still find a way to make it work out, right? And what contributed to the turnaround when it seemed like all hope was lost, right? And how important was it for you in working with like-minded people as well? So we'll just start with that. Then I will now then ask the individual question, basically. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and just start with Adedolapo. So everyone has 6 minutes to talk. So Adedolapo, can you go first? Oh, you know what? Let's start with okay, Adedolapo, please go first. I was going to start with the older people, but let's just do that.
Why not start?
No, like let's start with you now. Let's start with you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and it's so nice to see everybody. And thanks to Dari for bringing up this. I know that I have 6 minutes to talk, but I still have to talk what is on my mind. So thank you so much once again for bringing up this initiative. So the question was how it was for me volunteering, right? I'm sorry.
Yes, how it was for you volunteering in
Okay.
EHI.
Okay, so I started volunteering for EHI early last year, January. And to be honest, beginning wasn't so rosy for me. It wasn't really that for me. But in the long run, I had to like adjust. I had to get used to certain things, bringing myself into certain positions. And after everything, I'm grateful that I was able to lead and I was able to I was able to lay down good examples. And some of the challenges that I faced, not really challenges, I would say they are life lessons, right? Having to manage people, working with different people from different background, different countries, different states. And EHI is not like, as at when I came to EHI, it was being operated in that kind of virtual system, not like we having to see every day. So we don't get to know how this person look like, except if we have meetings. So having to discuss, having to bring in people to understand what we are trying to achieve. At the beginning, it was quite challenging for me. And even the leadership role, I didn't want to take up the role because I felt like it's going to be too demanding for me. And I was able to overcome it was me understanding people, understanding the people I'm working with, understanding their strengths and their weaknesses, and understanding my own strengths as well and my weaknesses. What are the things I feel like I can do, even if these people are not here? What are the things these people can do, even if I'm not here? But all in all, it was a wonderful experience for me. And to be honest, up to this day, I still mention it like although I had, just like I said, I had some, it wasn't rosy for me. I still had like some highlights of lessons that I learned while I was working for EHI. So that's that for me. Thank you.
Okay, so there were still more questions, right? I don't know if you mind sharing some of these highlights or challenges, because there are other volunteers on the call that are listening. Please feel free. If you feel like Dario was evil, wicked, please don't hold back on anything, so that everybody can also hear and just be able to learn from it as well. Yeah.
Because I have 6 minutes, so I'm trying to like eat time.
Yeah, so you still have time. You still well within your time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just like I said it wasn't really, really rosy for me. I could remember that I had issues like with Dare. I think the first to 3 months, I had issues with Dare, wanting to get everything at all costs, trying to push me, challenge me. I don't think I've ever challenged myself in a volunteering position the way Dare pushed me. And one thing I could remember Dare said to me was that he believed in me. I was like, believed in me. I didn't even believe in myself. So how come you say you believed in me? But then again, at the long run, I also realized what he saw. Myself and Dare, we fought so many times, had arguments so many times. But at the end of the day, we all fought in order for things to run smoothly. And at the end of it, everything went out. Everything came out well, and everything, even the programs, the project and everything turned out to be positive, turned out to be okay. So that's that. Me and Dare we still have some back and forth. Even up till now, we still like have some like, but it's not like before. So everything was just understanding the people you are working with. Just like I said, you have to understand the people you're working with. You don't have to say, oh, this is the kind of person you are, and you just have to impose that trait on people. So I had to understand the kind of person I was reporting to, the kind of people I was working with, to understand how the things that they can offer and how they can turn up for things. So I think that was the basic thing for me. And to be honest, it was a wonderful experience for me. There are moments that I would cry after meetings. There are moments that I would feel bad that maybe things didn't work out. But at the end of it, it was 15 months of leadership for me. And I think I learned certain things. I felt like there are even certain things that I could have done better, right? But we are humans, and I believe that we would keep learning, even if I'm no longer working with EHI. So that's that from my end, Darren. I don't want to
All
talk
right.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, so we'll just move on to the next person, Mary Olajide, basically, right? So just a quick brief. So Mary, for you, same question, but just talk about how you came in. I still remember your interview like it was yesterday. Um, I think I even said you should start and some of the things you had to do because you came in for 3 months, right? That was your contract. And also still the same thing. How was your experience working with EHI, putting structures in place? And also being able to balance everything. I know you were so busy. And by the way, congratulations as well. I know you were recently called. I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't know if you're comfortable with me saying what you finished with. Maybe I don't want to put you in the spot like that. But I'll still say you finished the first class, right? And I
Yes,
mean, to be honest, like even from the one, right? I could sense when you were in that interview that this was someone that knew what she wanted, basically, right? So being able to balance everything, because I remember you were still interning that year and you
sir.
were really crucial during the cheaper cash event. So if you can just tell us what your experience was like, you highlight challenges, working with people as well. So same time, 6 minutes. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, Dari, for this opportunity to share my experience. I think I jotted a few points, but then I would so I'll be able to organize my thoughts, but then I think I would move from one point to the other. But I think I would like to start with the challenges first. I want to pick up from where Adijolako left the experience. I think she was talking about how very tasking EHI is, and then having to even work with the leader. I think first of all, I think I need to mention that Dario is a very serious person. Working with him would require you to be serious too. So I think during I'd seen the a call for applications for volunteering. I think 3 months role, 3, 6, 9 months. So I put in for the 3 months role, and then I was selected. I think I started immediately. And then from the very first day I started, I just knew what EHI entails. It was intense. Overall, I would sum up the experience into 2 words: intense, and of course rewarding. So it was really intense. Starting, I think I jumped on working on a proposal as soon as the very next day I I became a volunteer with EHI. And then at the same time we had a lot of projects that we had to work on. And I was the secretary general. I was with EHI for briefly just 3 months, but I could tell that it felt like I was with EHI for like a year. or even more, because it was really, really intense. So on the challenge that I said I was start with is first, I think I had issue with balancing volunteering and my other life, for instance, my work life. I think that might be the experience for most people, because you're not just it's not a paid role, so that means you're doing something aside EHI. Perhaps you're in school or you are working, but the big challenge is trying to create a balance. And the way EHI is not like the typical, because while I was in EHI, I was volunteering for the other organizations, and even after EHI or prior to EHI, I had volunteered with other organizations, and I could tell that EHI is just a very serious. It's like we are being paid for what we're doing, and I feel like it stems from the goal, the goal that the leadership wants to really achieve and is making a change. It's not about EHI. It's not about just jumping into a project every year. It's about doing multiple projects, monthly projects. In fact, sometimes for a month you have 3 different teams working on different projects. You're preparing for the charity series for later in the year. So I feel like it's very intense because we have a lot of things we're working on, and we are like a real organization, and not just like a typical association that just wants something to be done. We do a lot of things to ensure that change is effected. So I think that was the issue I had, because I had to, and I was the secretary general. So sometimes I attend meetings and I take up other roles aside being the secretary general. So it was pretty intense. But then I think it was the interest that actually fueled the strength I was able to use to push through. So it was the interest. I was very much interested in what I was doing. And at the same time, I think to like Adidolapo said too, I think later on I in fact I regret leaving EHI early, but I had other things to do and I needed to go to the law school. So but I still really do regret leaving EHI early, but because even the leadership experience, even the way Jare can be tough, the way he wants things to get to be done, the way it doesn't take things with levity. If we have a plan, we have a strategy, we have to stick to it. So it exposed me ahead of what the work culture is now. I think most of the people I work with, where I work at the moment, are more or less like that. So I'm used to getting things done because I had learned, though it was briefly during my time at EHI. So despite the fact that it was challenging and there was an issue with balancing my work life um and volunteering with EHI, I still had that interest, and I'm very glad it's paid off. So I think also there was a question as regards structures that were put in place. So I think I would mention first of the leadership too. I think that's one of the structures. We had project managers for each project, and I'm so sorry I'm going to mention Dari again. And then there's Dari ensuring that putting everybody on their toes. I mean, sometimes we have when Daryl leaves a meeting or we are in another meeting, everybody's always saying, "Oh, we have to get this thing done," because Daryl will start asking about it. So I think it was um to some extent it is still the sense of discipline, and I feel like that's what a typical organization that wants to go far needs. So the leadership was very quite tough but necessary. And then at the same time we had follow-up meetings. I mean, I think I really appreciate. I tried joining this meeting earlier, and I realized that there was already another meeting. In my head, I was thinking, oh, perhaps because before, let's say before a virtual event, we always had like meetings where we all meet to decide what will go on, like a pre-meeting before the meeting. Like I felt it felt really familiar to me when I tried joining and I could not join because I was like, oh my God, is EHI again? Is perhaps a meeting prepare or a meeting where they plan or try to strategize about the meeting that will go on. And then imagine getting mails 5 minutes before, 30 minutes before the meeting, 5 minutes. So the structures that actually that makes EHI what EHI is. So I feel like if these structures might really like take time, they might demand so much, but I think they will pay off definitely. So we had follow-up meetings, we had strategy meetings. I mean, if you're supposed to be assigned, you're supposed to do a task and then you're given a timeline, and then we have meetings, follow-up meetings, and you're not done what you, of course, you definitely will be reprimanded. So that brings me to the next point. Aside, so I mentioned the leadership, the follow-up meetings. Also, there's an acknowledgement. I think I would term it acknowledgement structure, so to say. So if you're doing well, you definitely would. I remember there was a meeting that we had. I think I had worked all day, worked on proposals, drafting letters and something for EHI, and then we jumped on a call, and then that way acknowledged my efforts. It felt really good. It felt really good. And then that spurred me to actually even do more. So, and aside that, I think another thing that Dari would do is, now, as much as he would acknowledge what you had done, he would also say to your face, and in fact in front of other people, that you had not done something well. You should have done this at this time. You should have done this. If you don't do this, what is the fate of the project? So there was an incentive. He would acknowledge you as a form of incentive for you to keep going. But at the same time, if you had not done well, you definitely would get of it too, definitely. So I think I also noted the fact that sorry, let me just check it. Okay, yes, for instances where where it seemed as if a particular project would really not come to fruition, or what happened, I think I wouldn't say I have a particular. I mean, I really had like 3 months with EHI. So, but I can mention that oftentimes we had issues with finances, but then all of a sudden, we perhaps a month to the project, things would definitely turn around. And Darry would always say, "Oh, let's reach out to members." I mean, you can appeal to the emotions of members because they understand the purpose of the project. So I feel like that's the only experience I can share when it comes to instances when things could have been done right and it wasn't done right. So I think I've spoken about the challenges I faced, and then okay, there's also a question about working with like-minded people. Yes, that's exactly one of the things that, in fact, I think you could tell if you worked with a team at some point in time. You can definitely point out the people that are interested in these projects, not because they just want volunteering in their CV, in their CVs and whatnot. Although to be fair, having it in your CV, I mean, I got a well-paid secretarial role based on my experience with EHI in my CV. But then I think still working with like-minded people matters, like people that are very much interested in that they understand the goal of the organization, they key into the value of each project, and they are willing to work. So I believe I must have covered all the questions, and I think I spent more than 6 minutes, but then thank you
Yeah.
very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary, for that. So we'll just move on to the next person, Adebayo. Let's hear from the men. Adebayo. So after Adebayo, then Miriam, then Abisoye,
So
then
Darren, I didn't understand the question apparently. I think I was supposed to answer everything in 6 minutes. So I just answered
yes.
question one. I think I'm so sorry about that because I
So
noted all the things I was going to say. So I thought it was going
yeah,
to be like, oh, after one question, then the other question. Sorry about that.
no,
I
no,
don't
it's
know if
fine.
I can
We'll
still
find
do.
we'll find the
Okay.
space to bring you back.
To
So Bio
squeeze
is
me.
next.
All right,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, Bio. Over to you. So should I say the questions again, or you took note of the questions already?
I took note, I believe. We can say it again just to be sure.
All right. So you're supposed to just tell us how your experience was like working in EHI. What was your highlights, challenges? Tell us about the structures and system during your time. What are some of the key issues you faced with volunteering? How did you overcome them? And also just tell us examples of situations where you thought like all hope was lost in this project, and then all of a sudden it's like a miracle just happened and things were still able to work. And then how was it for you working with like-minded people, basically? So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Bayo. So trust me, Executive Helping Initiative, I learned a lot. They brought out the inner Bayo in me, basically. When I joined AI, it wasn't about interview. It was basically somebody invited me for a football match to come and play ball by force. Like I don't play ball, but well, I showed up and I love the reason why the soccer ball happened. I think it was kick against suicide or something. And then from there, I joined EI, and it was a beautiful. I joined like a normal volunteer, and then from there, I felt I could do more because I always wanted to do more for the community around me. And then it was a place to be able to actually do more for the community around me. So yes, joining to volunteer to be the head of operations was everything. Basically, I learned a lot from Dari. I learned a lot from EI. I met a lot of awesome people. I won't lie to you. Like most of the set of friends I have currently, I met them in EI. And it's like having people with same mindsets with you, same goals, and same strategy in making the world a better place. So yes, it was a lot. That was basically one of the like-minded people that I met there, meeting people with same mindset. Volunteering with AI was awesome. It was a bit challenging. We had our ups and downs. Like you can, it's like trying to achieve something. There must be ups and downs. You can't avoid that. At the long run is basically achieving the goal of the up and down. Yeah, we want to have an event. We have events every month, community event, orphanage, like every month. So and imagine every month trying to raise over 700K every month for events. And one way or the other, at the last minute, even when we thought we couldn't raise 100K, 600K comes up because you have like-minded people trying to achieve this. And then talking to people, like I always say when I was in AI, communication is very, very important. You are down, you are not available to get things done. Always let your team knows you are not available. Something happened to you, or don't assume they should know. So communication is really key. It is very important to communicate with whatever is wrong with you. Yeah, you're not getting paid, but you volunteer to do this thing. So do it. I'm sorry that like that is the if you volunteer that I'm going to get this thing done, get it done. If you think on your way of trying to get this done, you have challenges, communicate your challenges. I'm not going to be available, work this. Work. I was self-employed, so I didn't. My time was really flexible, so I was able to actually do a lot of things, market run. I was basically everywhere when I was in here. I learned a lot from volunteering with AI, a lot of things, a lot of experience that put me to where I am today in a particular way. I can tell you I volunteer for like more than 3 NGOs, and I don't even reach out to these NGOs. They just reach out to me. Oh, I heard when you were here, you did this, and I was like, who told you this? Darius said, and I'm like, oh my god, they need your help with this, they need your help with this. I'm all like, no problem. I voluntarily do them because I enjoy them personally. I was able to actually come out on my own from EI, like basically try to do same thing EI is doing, but I focus more on kids. So trust me, EI gave me a lot of knowledge. I learned a lot of things. I will always tell people anytime, any day. AI is a place to actually learn. If you really want to get things done, join EI and learn. Now that there's interview is a perfect thing. Like you get if you want to do 3 months, you want to do 1 year, I think it's an awesome step in letting people actually learn. And I can tell you based on what I've heard, a lot of people that have even been there have learned a lot. You've been able to put all these things in your lifestyle, your work etiquette at work, and it's really awesome. Yeah, challenges we have with volunteers, you can't avoid that because everybody have different mindsets. Everybody join for a particular reason. Some people join to make friends, some people join to make a difference, some people join to be among a family. EI was basically like a family, like everybody there were one. So everybody have different things, different challenges, and then getting volunteers to do the right thing at the right time is a big challenge. Trust me, because people will always drag things. So someone like me, I always have plan A, B, C, and D when working with people. I want you to get this thing done. I gave you a task, and I can see that you're not going to get it done. I have somebody else on it already. I learned that from Daria. I have like 2 people on this particular text, and I personally I am on it in case you end up disappointing me because people always disappoint you one way or the other. So always have your own plan A, plan B, C, and D because imagine plan. We've had issues where we want to go on event, and then the bus driver is not going to be like you call the bus driver like an hour before the event, and he told you he's on his way, and the next 3 hours the guy has not arrived. The next 4 hours he has not arrived, and your event is starting by 10, and you're already still at home at 12. So it's always good to have a plan. B, C. Don't depend on one person for any event, because at the long run, these people volunteer. Even people that you get paid messes up. So someone that you're not even getting paid can still mess up. So like I said, I learned having a plan A, B, C, and D, which always prevents any obstacle whenever we have an event. It always works for me. The structure of how things, I think the old structure thing started when we had everybody want to do everything, and then me, Dare, Temi, and some of us came up together, and we decided to create a structure where we have the media, the this, the that, and each department also had their own volunteers that are willing to do this. For everything to move, you need to have a head and an assistant. You can't just leave a place blank and saying all of you work together. There needs to be a head and assistant. And trust me, that structure made a lot of sense. It helped the organization to move faster, like doing events every day. Every month. There are sometimes we even do 2 events in a month. Like that's how crazy. Like we wonder at the long run, we just at the end of the year, we have our charity series is always something everybody's looking forward to. It's always fun, it's always awesome, it's always challenging. But at the long run, the point is we touch people's soul, we touch people's hearts, we make impact, and then we put smiles on people's face, which is one thing I learned from AI. Making impact is very, very important. Putting smiles on people's like every
Hello?
yeah, sorry, I got a call, but I've cut it. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can. We can.
So putting impact in people's faces is a lot. So I learned that the structure helped in making things easy. Yeah. So if you leave AI or you're an AI now, learn the structure, learn to communicate is very, very important. And your experience is everything. You can always use it even in your daily activities. Like I said, I think I've spoken about the like-minded people. Yeah, I met a lot of awesome people that I can call my G's right now. I met them in EI, and that is a beautiful thing. And to work with Dare, you just have to be patient. He's a very impatient person sometimes. Should I say sometimes or most times? You just have to be patient, listen, but at the same time, try to get things done at the right time. That is always his own thing. Getting things done at the right time. But like I said, you just have to be patient with that. At the long run, yeah, you feel like he's pushing beyond your limits, but that is how he's built. He rather make you do things that you don't believe you can do. But at the long run, if you are patient enough and want to do this thing, you end up doing them and getting it done. Excellence. Even though he never tell you directly that you did well, but inside him, he appreciates you at the long run. So I think I've covered all the necessary parts. Is there any part that is left?
No, like you've covered it. I'm just laughing here. So because of time, so just move on to Abisoye right now. So Abisola, please get ready. Thank you so much, Bayo. But please, guys, don't early go. The audience might have questions. So Abisoye.
Yeah.
So Abisola, you'll be next. Yeah, Abisoye.
You don't get lights.
Hello, Larry. Right? No, the light's quite low. Good evening, everybody. I mean, just listening to Bayo talk just takes me back. I've just been laughing and cracking myself up here because volunteering with EHA has been such an amazing experience. So, yeah, let me just quickly run through the questions. My experience working with EHI has been quite, let me say, a unique one, an amazing experience, like generally. I started volunteering for ASAT. I came in like, oh, I wanted to volunteer with ASAT. But after a while, I realized that, oh, my skill sets were better suited for EHI. So I pivoted to EHI, then stopped volunteering with ASAT. And this experience has been an amazing one. Like Bayo said, I think EHI, I met so many amazing people I call my friends to date, people I met from volunteering. And one of the biggest career push I ever had came from actually volunteering and the experience that I gathered over the years from volunteering, applying my skill sets, and basically everything I learned from being director of programs during my time. So yeah, how did the structures and systems in place help me in my role? Um, I am one of the first project I handled in EHI was project manager for one of the charity series, and from them I became director of programs. And I have to say that the structures that were currently in place in the organization is one of the all I say it is one of the bedrocks of the success that we had during this period. Now, because the organization is divided into teams, into houses, those things were very, very important in us raising funds, in getting the team of like-minded people together was even because of the structures that we had in place, because of the departments that we had in place. So we wanted to get letters out. We had the department, the Secretary General's department, we had the logistics department to handle buses. Of course, we had the internal planning system. Hello, sorry, can you hear me? Oh, hello. Can anybody hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought I was cut off. So yes, I was talking about how the different departments that we had in the organizations were very, very pivotal to the successes that we had for each and every one of the programs that we were organizing. Being able to bank on the departments to perform their functions, the PR department to come in and ensure that PR is in place, media is also taken care of, and all the structures all work together, like I said, to ensure that the success of each and every one of the events that we're planning actually like happen. So number 3, key issues faced while volunteering and how did I overcome them? One thing that's very important to note is whenever you're working with people, definitely you're going to have issues. And that's because of the fact that we are all coming from different backgrounds, different experiences, all trying to achieve similar goals. So of course, there's going to be a clash of ideas, clash of mindsets, clash of perceptions. And that definitely happened during my time. And how did I overcome them? I think first of all is to first know that everybody is growing and give everybody grace. I can remember countless times I was angry with Dari. I can remember countless times I was angry with other people in the department. But then again, being able to give people grace and recognize that people are also giving you grace for your lapses actually helped me a lot in terms of like making sense of all the challenges I was facing, like people related challenges, like managing people. And one of the, I think, amazing thing that did for me, even outside of EHI, was the fact that managing people did not stop at EHI. Even when I went into the corporate world, had to work with people, being in leadership positions. And because of the experience I had with EHI, I mean, there were days when our arguments were like war. It was like all blown wars. Like everybody is on everybody's neck. People and like someone is on this person's neck, this other person is on this person's neck, and then you're not trusting to the real world. And because of this kind of experience that you had dealing with people, managing people, it became easy. It wasn't new, it wasn't strange. I had that experience to work with, and definitely I think that was one of the key issue I know I faced that was actually major, working with people and having to work with different people from different backgrounds. Example of when I thought all hope was lost, but things still worked out. What contributed to the turnaround? I mean, every event that we put together, I would say it was a miraculous success. Definitely, there was planning involved. There was meticulous planning involved, but there was also the fact that nothing was ever set in stone. You could never be sure that your calculations would turn out right. You needed a bunch of things to come together to ensure that it was successful. You needed to ensure that the people that you were working with were doing their tasks, achieving their tasks. And I think, one clear example, I think it was the charity series when we were looking for money. I mean, I remember that we had raised some particular amount of money, and but we're still looking for a lot to cover. And one of the things that came through at the last end was some of the partners that we had reached out to just decided that, oh, they were going to jump on board. And because we had those partners cover those bits, we didn't feel the lapses at the end of the year. I remember I was community impact for the charity series. So I think, yeah, that's an example. I'm trying to ensure that I don't waste time. So number 5, how important is it to work with like-minded people in a volunteer organization? I think this has to be the most important thing, and not just even in a volunteer organization. Working with people who see the same goal, who are as passionate, who are as dedicated to achieving the same goals that you are, is very, very important to success. if all of us are in a bus and we want to get to VI, if half of the bus say they are going to Ikeja, there's going to be turmoil because we don't have a clear direction. And these people are not thinking the same way that you're thinking. During the course of my time, I mean, let me start with community impact. I think that's 2021 community impact. I mean, I had a fantastic team of people that, yes, there were times we had to weed out people from the group, people that I thought that, okay, they were not going the same route as we have. But when it came down to the final set of people that I had to like help me plan this event, I would say they were the best because every single one of them were just as invested. And one of the importance of that is that when you have people like this, they also take ownership for the event. They are not leaving you to sort things out. People are actively thinking, what can I do? How can I contribute to ensure that this event is a success? I remember during that community impact project, we had things like, raise 200 naira. So we'll have targets within the group to say each and every one of us must convince at least 10 of our friends. I think it was on a daily basis or on a weekly basis to raise, it was on a daily basis, 10 people on a daily basis to contribute just 200 naira. And I could see the enthusiasm at which every single person within the group like launched out. And that was because these people were also like-minded. They were also goal-oriented as I am. It was our thing. It wasn't just, this person's thing. Every single one of them. And even to the execution, even when we came to the charity series and all the successes that we have in terms of planning this event, it was because I had team members that were just as fired up, dedicated, passionate about this project. So if it wasn't just them waiting for Zoe to give the direction. Once we had shared tasks, each subgroup, each sub-department within the department would take ownership of their tasks and ensure that, okay, this is done, because they had that sense of ownership. And that, I think, is the most important part of working with like-minded people, because you need people who are just as dedicated. You can't do it alone. There's a way people say that, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people, go with others. And if you want to achieve the kind of success that you want to achieve, especially in a volunteer organization where the success is directly tied to impacting the lives of other people, it's very, very important that you have people who see the things that you're seeing, who can see the end goal, who can think, 2 steps ahead, just like you are, who are just as dedicated and just as passionate. So yeah, I think I've answered all this question, and I think I did not spend more than 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abisola. All right, Abisola. Miriam, please get ready, and then Temi Vaughn. Yeah. Abisola Adeniji. Abisola Adeniji, are you on the call? Abisola. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Dari.
Okay. All right, let's go to Miriam. Miriam, are you on the call? I'm guessing maybe Abisola has to do something. So Miriam Bolakale. Hello?
Yes, okay, I'm here now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Putting on my video. Okay. Hello, everyone. So, my name is Miriam, and I actually volunteered for EHI as welfare team lead. That was, I think, 2022, 2023. And to answer the question, the first question of sharing my experience working with EHI. So I would say, let me start from how I actually started working with EHI. It was towards the end of 2022. I just felt like it was time for me. I needed an opportunity to just impact people or anybody, just anyway. And then I saw EHI. I applied for it, and during the interview, that was at the end of 2022, they were having the charity series, and I was invited, and I saw how everything works, and it was actually fun. I registered to only volunteer for 3 months just to get it done because I wasn't so sure of what I was getting into because I was working full time. I get to work 9 to 5. So I just wanted to try it out and see how it was. So I would say it was actually very challenging. It was a learning place for me, and it's another place for you to just meet different people and get to see how things were. First, it also made me achieve my first aim of being able to impact people or doing something for people that would actually make them happy. So those were some of the things I learned working with EHI. The structure in EHI is one that is actually very, very good because you have every the department and all of that. Everyone just have their own job description and all. It might not necessarily be that maybe that's all you get to do because at the end of the day you might have to just get into other units too and all. So working with EHI, I learned a lot. I was working. EHI is a full-time job. I won't lie to you because if you probably do not have the time, you might not be able to do it. And then for you to be able to actually work well with EHI, you actually have to have the passion for what they do. You have to always want to continue. There are times and days that you probably want to give up, that you don't want to do it again. But when you actually remember the goal at the long run, when you remember that, oh, what we are actually planning for is to actually get this thing for these kids and all of that, you would feel the need to want to continue. You can sleep today and feel very tired and weak, but before you know, the next morning you're awake, feeling very agile, feeling very strong to want to continue and do things. So that's that about my experience, and I spoke about the structures. Some of the key issues faced with volunteering. I'll say some of them were being a lead, you really have to understand that you might have a lot of people in your team, and it's actually not all of them that are going to work. So I am able to, at the beginning, I try to like understand everybody and see the people that work. You reach out to a lot of people, and at the end of the day, you're going to realize that just a few of them, maybe one or two persons, are the ones that are there that you can actually reach out to. Honestly, I would stop wasting my time on others. If I can see that those two people are the only ones that are there for me, those two people are the ones that would come through, they are the ones I'll work with. I will not give a task, I'll not assign a task to somebody that has not responded to me for the past week or anything. And I think someone, but Adebayo spoke about something. He mentioned something here where he talked about when you assign tasks to somebody and you will just sit down thinking that person would do it. It doesn't always work like that. It's good to always have a plan B. I tell you, I'm already doing that thing. I'm working somewhere trying to find a way out to see how I can get that thing. You're doing it. I'm reaching out to you. Have you done it? Do you have challenges? All the challenges you have, I have the answer already because I know you would come for it or something. Or I just have my own backup plan in a way just to be able to actually solve all of those things. The question of okay, there's another question of, can I provide example of when I thought all hope was lost? Oh, I'd say many times, but let me use an example of Hangout, planning 2023 media Hangouts where we needed to hang out. It was actually really tasking getting everybody to donate or getting people to even just show interest in it. I think, Nigerian economy had already started at that time that many people were not really seeing the need to contribute. Everybody wants to, use the remaining money you have to eat or do something. It was really a struggle getting people to actually get in. I had many issues with Dare. When you have something planned, you're planning towards it, and I was like, no, you have to cancel it. But at the beginning, Dolapo said, at the beginning, the first few months that I joined the HI, it was not easy. It wasn't funny. I had issues with Dari. That one is standard. I don't think there's anybody that would not have at one point or the other that you will not have an issue with Dari. You would. But if you get to understand him and understand what he wants, you would know that there's actually a reason he's acting that way, or is reacting that way. Most times because of past experiences. He has been doing this thing for the past year, and he knows that there's going to be maybe one error or the other that usually happens in the past, and he's just trying to avoid all of those things. So it's bound for you to always have issues with Dari, but Dari is my paddy. Every time I can get on a call with him at any time, just to be able to find a way around that. So it was really challenging at the beginning, but and working with like-minded people was one of the ways I was able to resolve the challenges I faced there. So I know the people that are active, I know the people that actually want to get things done, and I know the people that have actually been helping and showing up for projects over time. So I know that my first energy is to actually face these people. Let me focus on them. So I reached out to them personally, individually. Guys, you are aware of this. We've been working. We need a break. Getting all those people was my number one goal, and it worked. Immediately I was able to get them. They actually they were very supportive. We were able to plan everything together on the group. They were able to always come out where we were able, and then other volunteers could see that so many people are now interested in Leeds, and they were able to come through for us. So working with like-minded people is a big deal, and it's very important. Dolakpo, she's here. There are many days that would actually stay on call for a very long time just to get things done. Kemisola is on this call. She's still volunteering, and she has been really supportive so many times. I just know that, oh, if I have a challenge somewhere, I know the person that can get it done or that can assist. So I won't waste my time on people that won't do it, because the end goal is to actually get that thing resolved. So working with like-minded people is actually another very important thing. And one more challenge is that I actually faced, or an example, for instance, working with welfare team required this every Friday conversation on the WhatsApp group, and you've assigned tasks to people, and those people are not there, they're not just coming through. And there was a particular day that I went to the market during that cashless issue that we had in Nigeria that Emefiele put us through and all of that. I was in the markets, and the people that were supposed to actually get it done were not coming through. I kid you not, I was under the rain and I just had to find a way to get it done. I was in K2 market. I needed cash from one malam that I meet there, but I have to get it done. It was challenging, tasking, and so it's a good thing. Working with CHI is actually a very good thing. You learn something. If you have just a very few time to do it, please get it done. Register, volunteer with EHI, and you will learn a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Miriam. Abisola Adeniji, are you available now?
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for having this call. I would also try as much as possible to speak within 6 minutes and not exceed the timeline. So for the first question, it says, can you share your experience working with executive help initiatives, and what were some of the highlights and challenges? I work personally with EHI. I joined through a cousin of mine. I think at that point in time, my story is also similar with that of Miriam. I was excited on just giving back to society, basically, and I needed something to do. And it was around that pre-COVID era, so I had lots of time on my hands at that period of time. And I would say that for me, that experience, the most thing that stood out in general was the people. I met people that I would say that some of them have still friends even till now. And that's something that is very important to me. From my team members that I work directly with, and to the team that I work across different teams with. Some people were something that was very critical. And I feel like it is something that is very important for every organization, right? They would say something that when someone is an organization, you are not the organization will be your cost. So it just shows how important the people you work with is in every organization. So some of my highlights, I would say that for me would be my team members specifically, how we would have like meetings. We kept like basic structured meetings, so we have like religion meetings. We would also have like structured meetings in sense that, okay, this is what we want to have on this school meeting together. Then we'll have the meeting in terms of, let's just know how we're doing, how are you feeling, what are the things that you're working on, and how can we assist, right? Everyone in the organization, or rather everyone in the team member. And that's just something that has helped us. Even till now, I have my team members just seeing me as somebody that you can just reach out to via WhatsApp. Like, there's something I always do that I'm just a WhatsApp message away. And that culture that was embedded is something that we still do even till right now. Some of the challenges, right? I would say that it is people sense of responsibility. Working with people. I know everybody feels like, oh, I'm volunteering. So I can also just spend my time, like I can come in and go in as I feel like, and people forget that there is an organization at the back of the non-profit, right? And that's something that I had an issue with when it comes to like working with people, even in my team, and also working with people across. And one of the things that I feel like I was able to overcome that particular challenge is just ensuring that people understand the sense of responsibility that comes with it. And just as I said, that for everything that we do, or every result that we are able to achieve, it's directly impacting people's lives. So when it comes to understanding it helps. And also ensuring that people don't have to work with. I don't know what it's like, but meditation is something that just also helps. Right, so I would say that some of the challenges, the sense of responsibility, and also allowing people to understand that. When I was the second question, how structures and systems in place help in your goals. I think one of the major structures that I just noticed in AI is the fact that at the beginning of every year, there is a calendar that is used. It helps you plan, especially when you're working with finance, right? You have an idea of what you need to do over the course of the year. And it also helps you plan, what you need to put in place to achieve some of these things in terms of funding, in terms of, reaching out to people. So all this structure, having like a calendar at the beginning of the year helps. Also the fact that calendar structure is the fact that we have like a monthly call, everyone just comes on board, and it's at that time when I was volunteering, it was called like the volunteering town hall meeting. I'm not sure, I don't think I can remember clearly, but yeah, so monthly calls. And also in my team, we had like an every 2 weeks call, where it's every week we also have like a list of things that we needed to do part time. And it just made it easy. So it's not like, as much as we are volunteering, we also understand that these are the things that we need to do, and we can actively plan our time towards it. And we also give our best in whatever we are doing. Like I would say that some of the structured methods that I really enjoyed working with, like the fact that I can easily plan my time with the calendar that has been created by the organization and the prepared meeting. Although like meetings that whether we just come up with when it comes to team meeting or town hall meeting. But aside from what is one of situations, the fact that other things are already put in place in terms of planning, that certainly there's someone that aside from that you want to volunteer for different organization, you have different things to do, and you also have your 9 to 5. I move on quickly to the second question, which is where were some of the challenges you faced volunteering and how did you overcome them? I think I mentioned this briefly, like when I was talking about the highlights and the challenges. And really, I think this is very specific to the finance team. Everybody wants like the 5 guys, right? We are the ones that will ask for budget. We would also ask for you to scrutinize your budget and say that, what, these budgets are contributing. So I remember we have called already at this many budget, and we just like, it's not like at some point, it's not like we're what's there to what you want to do. What to do. Generally, organization, they always see finance. I think it's just maybe the role of finance in general, making it see the reason for it. Although sometimes they do, other times they don't. Coming, just aligning and ensuring that can we can work together, or we can see it together to be able to move forward with something that I've seen was one of the major challenges that we face, particularly in finance. So the first question says, can you provide examples of when you thought all hope was lost, but things still worked out, what contributed to the economy? I know you have mentioned it, I know Edson has mentioned it. It's just always regarding funding. I want to get finance, money. I'm very close to something you say that how exactly can we bring money into the organization? That the fact that everyone has to think about is that how exactly can we make this target? What are the things that we need to do to ensure that we meet this particular target? And I also remember the certain situation where we had not reached, as much as we have sales partnership in a time, we had also tried to come up with different ways to raise money. We still were not able to reach our quota for that particular month. I think one thing that we did was not only the partnership, we just went to the church that the partner has called his guy and some of my team members. We decided that we're just taking a very brief or more like a reading chats on the group chat. So we're just going to come up and ask the people that are people in a specific organization because we're trying to secure partnership for one of our events. And I think at the end of the day, we're able to see somebody that knows someone in Abeloxy, and we're able to secure that particular partnership. And we think that's very successful that we and it was just nice at the end of the day to be able to see the smiles that we have to those things, and it was really beautiful. But these are some of the things that just appear as much as they are structured things in the organization. So one challenge is called that I just have to team to work with, like we come together and see that we want to always work nice together, and just achieve the particular goal was always big for me. And I'll just take it to the last question. So how important it is to work with like-minded people in a volunteer organization. This is not for 60 a volunteer organization. In every organization, you will see that they always emphasize their culture. Like if you go for an interview, most likely the first interview that you will go for is a culture fit interview. Why? Because you want to ensure that you are working together, like we are aligned, we are not we want to ensure that when you are coming in, you are not making different set of values that doesn't align with what we do, because it's very important and it's very crucial. So of every organization. Working with like-minded people will help you a lot. The fact that you will understand where you are going. The fact that you people can come together to just brainstorm, as I mentioned earlier. And also the fact that you don't feel like you're disturbing people. Like once you guys come together, it's not more like I'm disturbing you to achieve it. You understand where we are going. You understand why we are doing some specific things. So it's not about I'm disturbing you for the time now. It's now pushing a lot of burden to the team leads or to the heads of the organization, and you now see people feeling very overwhelmed. But when you are working with people that are going in the same direction, it helps business burden. It also helps achieve your goals faster. And you see that you actually achieve like marvelous results when you work with people that are like-minded. And it's something that is crucial not just in a volunteer organization, but also in the corporate world or in other businesses specifically. In all, I would just say that my experience working with Ina was a very good one. For most of us that on this course, it was an experience that formed us into the person that we had to be. I know that most people that are also, I will speak for myself, it was a starter for so many things, and it gave me the confidence to be able to say that, what, I have done this and I can do this wherever I find myself. Once that's come, we have felt that, what, we will not be able to achieve something. But last minute, I would say miracle do happen, or miracle happen regardless of, but it's supposed to be some structures that we have already put in place. And I'll just say that was just an experience that to the person that I am today, and just felt that experience that would be part of my story wherever I am. Yeah. And I hope it was able to explain that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abisola. And then last but not the least, Temi Vaughan. Temi Vaughan has been a brother, a comrade, right? And decided to rest as the former assistant coordinator as well. Just to give a brief, when Temi joined in 2018, he just came into the organization and just started solving problems. And I just knew that this was someone that I definitely wanted to share this burden with as well. So I'll just allow him to. So yeah, over to you, Temi Bro. Yeah. So after this session, we'll take questions and answers. If you want to ask anybody a direct question, then we'll ask them. And thank you, panelists, for still staying behind. So Temi Bro. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dari. And it was so nice to see everyone. Bayo, Abisola, Abisoye, some I don't know, but it was so nice to see everyone. Bayo, how are you? It's been a while. Okay, there's really a lot to say, but I will try to stick to the questions. I was going to go off point, but I'll really try and stick to the questions. Okay, so share an experience working with. So I worked in both EI and SADS. I was assistant coordinator at some point. I was general secretary. It was an experience for me. And I think one of the things that I would say really stood out for me is learning to work with different kinds of people. I think it was when I started volunteering at SADS and EI that I began to understand people. I'm still on the journey of understanding people, right? But it was really when I got there, I began to see that there are different people would not always think the way I think. People would always get it at first. I began to understand people, build my interpersonal skills, communication, have to be patient with people, understand that what I am trying to communicate to people that they're not understanding, it took me time to understand, right? So you have to be patient, right? So it was an experience that really, really developed and shaped my mindset about working with people, teamwork, different kinds of soft skills, right? Which I apply today. Right, so it was a very stretchy journey because I was working with Dari in two organizations. I still am, right. But in the capacity I was working was it stretched me a lot, right. And one thing about it is that EI is different from SADS, right. SADS is a mental health organization. EI is more of charity, right, and so there's something Dari keeps saying, like when we come to SADS, like you have to be calmer. But for me, I saw it as you're dealing with human beings across board. So there is a level of, how do I put it now? Understanding that you have to give. Now, between Dari and I, so I think that everybody has given examples of how Dari can be tough. So in the leadership of the two of us, I think I was the soft one. Dari was the hard and needed one. So there was a balance, right? So when Dari is being pushy and hard, right? I had people, so I think most people will come and complain to me and say they don't like the way Dari spoke to them, and I'll not have to be like an advocate, having to talk. You have to calm down. You have to understand where Dari is coming from. Then I'll go and speak to Dari, you have to, so it was more of doing like an advocacy thing because of how I had a calmer disposition. But it was very good that Dari was the way he was, because if he was the way I was, we won't move forward in the organization. So it was a journey, right? How did the structures and systems in place help you grow? So when I first of all came in, right, the structure and system wasn't really in place. It was as we grew that we began to see that there was a need for systems and structure. And one thing that I would say that the systems and structure really help people to be more organized. The house, the departments, the way we had to begin to come up with, if you want to take a leave, you need to make a request, HR recruitment and all of that. It really brought about organization. it brought about synergy, it brought about results. So there was more results, especially with the house system that we had. It was very easy to raise funds and all of that. So the system and structure did really put the organization in a better position, made us more effective, I would say. And it made me to be able, so it made me to also be able to understand, because our duty was to make sure that all the departments were working. So it made me to be very easy to know, okay, this is the department that we need. And it gave us an overview. So we knew where the problems were, we knew what to address, how to address it. So the system and structure was really, really good, right? What were some of the key issues that I faced during volunteering? And there were so many key issues, but I think that one that stood out for me is, or the many that stood out, right, was when we had events. And no, I think I'll use two. One where we had events and we didn't have money, right? But despite that, we kept pushing. And one way or another, with the help of God and people just coming through, the money came. So that taught me resilience. Another thing is dealing with people, volunteers, who, despite the fact that you will communicate, they're just not getting it. So one thing that I think that I did was to reach out to people and say, okay, what is the problem? Do you want to communicate what the problem is? And in the process, some of them actually spoke about what they were going through or the issues that they had. And I know that there are several times that Daria and I came up with ideas on how we can help people, how we can, sometimes it might be financial, and we did help people. So it was two things: was actually planning events, not having money, and then still coming through resilience. And the other is dealing with volunteers and coming up with strategies on how to help them. Can you provide examples of when you thought all hope was lost, but things worked out? I mean, do I have a particular example now? Well, I think it was a particular time where we had this event and it looked like it was not going to hold because there was just no money. Right. And I remember that Daria would say things like, you know what, we just need to keep pushing. I think let's even put ourselves together. And in the process of pushing, now that was the time that we now had to begin to use the house system. So we came up with another strategy to say, okay, you know what, let the house system let them be the ones to raise money. Let's push them to raise money, right? And before you knew it, right, just pumping ideas into them, people began to raise money in their houses. And, you know, before you knew it, we had more money for our events. So that was that strategy, and that's putting people together and seeing how people began to work together as a team and even build deeper bonds was something that was really, really inspiring for me. How important is it to work with like-minded people in a volunteer organization? Well, I think it's very important because when you have people who are thinking in the same direction as you, it makes the journey easier. However, I've realized that when you are working with people from the beginning, they might not have the same mind as you. And so that's where leadership comes in, for you to take time and patience and rigor and resilience to make people understand the journey. So when people, for instance, if you do an interview, even if HR should recruit and all of that, one thing I realize is when it comes to volunteering work and doing good works, people are always interested. People, you know, just because it makes them feel good. But when they come into the organization, you realize that they don't understand or have the same mind with you. Now, that's where leadership comes in to say you have to be patient to now continue to talk about the vision, the mission, continue to encourage them. And that's one thing that I know that Daria did very well, right? In terms of every time, just talking about where we are going, what it is that we're going. And that's how some of us began to, I used to say sometimes that I feel like I can talk about Ian Assad more than Daria because he pushed that vision in us, right? And then some people got it and began to have the same mind and work with it, right? But it is important to have people who are like-minded. But if you're going to have those like-minded people, you have to build them. You have to make them to have the same mind, right? So people, not everybody will come in and just understand what you're trying to do, right? But it's the journey of leadership of saying, okay, I know that you don't understand what we're doing. I know that you're here to help, but I'm going to take you through it so that we can begin to think alike. And I'm sure that is what people like Abisoye, people like Bayo did, right? Just bringing people together and saying we need to do this, building that mind, talking to people about it, and then we begin to say, okay, people will now say, okay, I think I'm interested. I think that's it. So it is important to have like-minded people, but I've realized that you build the like-minded, right? And let me just say this about volunteering for people who are here and asking about the importance of volunteering. I don't like to talk about volunteering just in terms of what you will get, but I realized that there's a particular generation I'm talking to, so I like to talk about it from what the benefits of volunteering to you. Now, I'm present here. And yesterday I was in a session, and my sister is in the US. And yesterday I was in a session where, if you want to, in the US, the way they do it, before you can get into universities, it is compulsory for you to volunteer. I made an application for a job, and in fact, not just a job, all of the jobs that I apply for, like I'm a lawyer, right? They always say it in the application. They don't want you to write only your legal experience. They want you to write all other volunteering. It's explicitly stated there. Now, the reason why they like it is because they believe that if you have volunteered, you are more of an asset to them than somebody who has just done one thing or has just been working. Volunteering gives you skills that you might not get even when you are working. And so it is very important to take volunteer. Most of the successful people I know, they started with just serving, volunteering, just giving of themselves, doing something, doing a worthy cause. So now, most of these things that we are saying, you see all of us talking about it, it didn't make sense at the time we were doing it. But after, and that's how life is. You begin to learn from the hindsight, they call it. But now we're calling this session because we want you to begin to think about it and say, this thing is just you can take a survey and just say, I joined this organization here. What are the things that I have learned? Right? Because a time will come, and it's not even whether you want to leave the country, even if you are in the country, right? The skills that you develop from working with people, because for instance, everybody wants people who are team players. So one of the ways that you can show that you're a team player is by working in a team, and volunteering offers you that. It helps you with your interpersonal skills. It helps you with your critical thinking. It helps you with I know that someone like Abisola now worked in the finance department, and it helps you even with your career, right? So volunteering is an important asset. You might not know it now, but I bet you that once you leave the organization or once you are faced with the world, you would see that, oh my God, this thing was important. I never stopped volunteering. In the school where I did my master's, I held several positions. I was doing master's that is rigorous. I held more than 4 positions for the whole school, for a legal firm, for another organization, for another department in the school. I just love volunteering. I believe that volunteering is just life. And I think that no matter what state I get to, I will keep volunteering, because for me it's service and it really develops me. So I think that if you're volunteering, it's a very, very good thing. You're doing a good thing for yourself, and don't mind that it can be stressful. It is good. If you think about the people I work with, now, and I've learned a lot from Dari, because I am more of a let us just understand people calm person. But I realize you can't always have that alone with dealing with people. It is good to be calm and understand people alone, but there is a time for violence, right? Because people need a bit of it, right? So yeah, I think I'll stop there.
All right, thank you so much, Temi. Thank you so much. So because of time, right, I wanted to ask, do we have questions from the audience to the panelists? You can just raise your hand. Please do not be shy. Maybe you're thinking of starting your own foundation. You need advice from them. I think everybody here can, as I call them, they can be consultants in their own field. Many of them are doing so many things. They've been able to learn a lot. And I think, I don't know, I think they should be available to like do consultation. Sure, you might have to pay them, but take advantage of them now, right now. Most of these people are big people, though. They're no longer small people as well. So do we have questions for them, please? If you have any question for anyone, just raise your hand. Or any question for the panelists briefly. And also thank you so much, everyone, for just giving me back, those memories and all. All right, Evans. So Evans, please feel free to ask a question.
All right. Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
All right. Good evening, sir. Good evening, house. Okay. My question is when I think Mr. Adebayo Oguntayo was speaking, he mentioned something about teaming. So I have a question, and my question is, sir, let's say knowing that there's a structure on ground, and along the line where we have a project running, a challenge was encountered in the project that is running, and let's say a possible outcome to solve the problem may not fit into the laid down structure already. In a situation like that, I don't know what should be the response to such kind of situation.
So, Bayo, can you answer the question? Or would you want to answer the question? Bayo,
Okay. So when you say, can you give an example of a situation? Because yeah, sometimes you just have to step outside the box. There's always a structure. So when they tell you step outside the box, that means you just have to do some extraordinary things that you never expected that you do. So if you can have an example of what you are talking about, then I'll tell you, yeah, you need to step outside the box.
Okay. I think you just answered the question, like maybe stepping out of the box, because
Yeah.
yeah, before saying what you just said, I was thinking that the structure should just be the structure, the structure, and the structure.
The structure should always be the best first thing, basically. But yeah, there are some situations. That's why I said, and if you can give me an example, I can tell you still follow the structure. I can tell you step outside the box. It's not all situation that you feel like the structure cannot solve that you need to step out of the box for. There are some that you just have to find your way.
Okay, thank you. I have a second question, please. Sorry,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yes. Okay. My second question is, let's say, for example, a challenge is encountered. Is it in every situation, the solution for the challenge should involve the team that are participating in a particular project? Is it in every situation?
Okay. I think I want Adelapo to answer this question. Adelapo, please, can you answer the question, please, for him?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, so I got the question. Yes, it is very important that you carry your team along, because at the end of it, or at the end of the day, things might not work as planned. You might think like, oh, I think I can handle it alone. I've been in that situation, but I think that was why that said that I should answer the question. So I've been in that situation before. I just felt like, let me just do it my own way. I understand the structure, so let me just do it. And at the end of it, my team members were not really carried along, and it affected a bit. So this thing didn't think. So I just had to like bring them back, tell them what the issue is, what we need to do, and all of that. And some didn't really get that energy anymore. They just had to be like, okay, Adidolako can handle it. And it seems like she can handle it, for her not to even tell us at the beginning. So I said something at the beginning of when I was talking. I said that there were some lessons I learned, and I've even been putting it in place, right? So it is very important. Don't assume that, oh, I don't want to stress them, I don't want to carry them out. Because through that, they would also learn. They would also learn. Just imagine you are no longer volunteering with the organization. They would remember that, oh, so person also faced this challenge, and this was how this person dealt with it. But imagine if you didn't talk, how would they be able to deal with it? Even if it's not with EHI, any other organization they find themselves, they'll be able to remember that. I could remember my team lead dealt with this thing while I was volunteering with so organizations. So I think let me just reach out to this person, if this person can even tell me or remind me of how we're able to deal with it. So it is very important, whether big issue to the smallest issue, please, it is very important that you inform them that, oh, this is how it's going. From there, you can even see solutions. The solution that you are thinking that you have might be different from another person's solution. So it is very important to communicate at all times, whether good or bad.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. Grateful.
All right, welcome. Maxine, you raised your hand. I don't know if you can speak now. Maxine. Maxine, that's your name.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Okay,
Good evening.
I have a question. I have a question, and it's I think it's my question goes this way. In a situation where you have an a growing organization and one way or the other you recruit volunteers often, and then at the long run, you notice that some of these volunteers may not be able to keep up. They sometimes neglect the roles and maintain their performances again. And then and then at some point you may like to call on one person or the other to handle certain roles, and you are not able to see them. Do you recruit some other volunteers, or you need to look inward? What possible solution can be of help to a situation like this?
Okay. So I think I want Temi Vaughn to answer this one. Temi, did you hear the question?
Sorry, I didn't hear it. Sorry. Can you?
Okay, do you want to repeat yourself, Maxine? Maxine. Maxine, are you on the call?
It was breaking a bit, that's why I can not hear.
Okay, no problem. Like I said, you have. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, network. So what you said is just a
Hello?
situation where you have volunteers and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. What do? Do you automatically just go and recruit new volunteers to be able to carry out the task?
Okay. Okay. So if you have volunteers who are not doing what they are meant to do, well, I think that's where leadership comes in. So the first thing is in my journey, I've realized that when people do certain things, there's a reason. There's always a reason why people do what they do. There are times in ASADS and even EI where there's a particular volunteer who is not doing something, and then we reach out to the person and realize that the person lost a loved one and the person is mourning. So what you should do in that situation is, if you realize that there are people who are not doing what they are meant to do, as a leader, one of the skills you need is patience. Reach out to the person. Have a one-on-one conversation with the person. Understand what the person is going through. Now, in that conversation, and this is something I've done so many times, in that conversation, two things will happen. It's either you will encourage the person to the point that the person will now understand why they need to begin to do what they need to do. Or you would, from the conversation, you'll be able to work with the person and make the person understand that, okay, you're going through so much at this time, and it's a genuine conversation. You need to take a break, right? But your reaction when people are not operating or cooperating should not be to just lash them out or just remove them, or just, no, reach out, right? And from having a conversation with the person, you would understand whether the person is just deliberately doing it and not interested, right? If that's the situation, then you simply give the person a week notice, or based on what the structure says, give the person notice that we're going to be removing you within this time because we realize that you're not interested. There are some people who they're just going through a lot and don't know how to balance it. Now, it will be your responsibility to now have a conversation with them and help. And some people are genuinely interested in volunteering, but are just going through a lot and they don't know how to balance it. So it is your responsibility to help them out to see how they can, and if they can, continue working, right? And there are some who they are fixed. There was this time where this person I had a conversation with. After conversing with her, I helped her and everything, and I just had to advise her that you need to stop volunteering now, right? The slot to be open for you to come back if you want to, but for now, you need to stop volunteering. So you just need to be able to reach out first before you now decide whether you want to remove the person or whatever. I don't know if you heard the answer and if the answer is your question.
Maxine, does that answer your question? I don't know if Maxine is still around, but it seems Maxine has left. Okay,
Right.
Annabella. Annabella, you can go ahead to ask question. Annabella.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Good evening,
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
I would say thank you so much to all the speakers. I really enjoyed every section from when I joined. Just a follow-up question to the last question that was just asked. So, my name is Annabella, and I'm actually in the HR team. I'm volunteering in ASAD in the HR team, and um, during the period, like when I first joined ASAD, um, I was asked to join the interviews. After I was interviewed, I was asked to join the interview. So, I noticed that, during the interview, yeah, so many persons are so eager to join in. They're giving their best. They say even things that they might not really be able to do just to be able to get in. And I realized that after the recruitment period, after we should send the congratulatory mails and everything. So some persons, all the volunteers that were accepted joined in the onboarding and everything. But after which I noticed that some persons started lagging. Like some persons were not they were not giving in their best as they ought to. And to me, I would, in my head, I would say, okay, probably because of the maybe the people in the department that the person joined, the people are not really very active or something. I don't know, but I just felt like there was something wrong. But at the point, I was not able to, try to find out because I just joined the organization. And fast forward to this point where more like we are trying to, recruit new persons, and somehow I'm, involved in the process now a lot more, like a lot much. And I realized that it's more like even if when they come for interview and you explain a whole lot to them, explain how ASAD functions, explain the structures and everything, they are so much eager. Just like I said earlier, they are so much eager to join, and of course they will tell you so much. They will tell you they can do it, they have the time. Even if they don't have the time, they tell you they can fit it in and everything. But after which you just notice less than 2 weeks to them joining, they are already, not giving it the best. You talk to them, it's as though something, I don't know, they are angry with somebody or somebody is angry with them, I don't just know. And you try to see if you can, help them out. They are not willing to take help. At this point, I just felt like I just wanted to know, is there a standard to really identify people that are, interested in all these things? Because it's very heartbreaking when you recruit a whole lot and you now realize that even the number, they are not acting the way they should, and you have to, continue doing recruitment and all. So is there a standard that we should look out for during the interviews to know that this person is actually, would actually be involved in what we are doing in the long run? So yeah, that's like my question. Thank you.
Okay. So please, I want Abisola and Miriam and Mary to just answer this question, just to have this be then. Temivo will just touch on it. So Abisola, did you hear the question, Abisola?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay, just to recap question. Basically, during recruitment, bringing people, a few weeks when they join, you realize that it's already known. The question is exactly to that, Charlie, am I right?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. We can't really hear you. Is that I don't know if you're using an earpiece. Your voice is muddled, but I can still grab a couple of things you're saying. But if you can remove the earpiece, we will hear you clearly or something.
Okay, I'm actually what you see is the place. Can I hope it's better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to recap the question just to make sure that I got it. So we should talk about the current manager at Paris and the government recruitment so highlighting that a few weeks after the join, energy to they're not giving me access how to exactly fill that out, right?
Yes, so that's it. Like when people, come in, they're excited to join in. They will say all manners of things to get, and all of a sudden, they just go MI after 2 weeks. Like she's asking if there's a particular standard to be used.
Okay, so I would say that based on my personal experience, one thing that engagement is very key when it comes to people. When we bring in people, when we meet people, even when you join a new organization, the first thing we want to do is we want to observe. And afterwards, if you're not able to do this, realize that okay, like exactly. We would never stop listening. So, something I have like help like having like a very smooth transition process for them in terms of when they come in, right? Maybe like really proper handover to the activities and ensuring that the activity is consistent with them and they know exactly what they need to do per time. It genuinely helps. Another thing that can help is that sometimes people genuinely just get busy or they feel like they're perfect for something. And at the end of the day, they come to it, their children doesn't really allow them to volunteer like that. They just feel like, oh, it's just like I'm just doing it. There need to always be people like that, like not people people like that. However, there are also other people that are genuinely interested. They don't really necessarily have skills, but they are committed. So other people in that particular category, something I feel like help them with. They're giving them little tasks that we can take ownership for. When people have something that they are responsible for in an organization, it makes them feel their more, makes them feel welcome. And I think that's something that can help. But in terms of standard, just to clarify, it's when you mean standard, is it standards to monitor them or what do you exactly mean?
Annabella, did you hear what she said? But she's asking a question.
No, I didn't hear the question. I didn't hear.
Okay, so now when it comes to standard, what exactly do you mean by standard? Is standard to monitor them?
Yeah, continue.
Okay, yeah, more like a standard to know, like, is this person really saying what the person can actually do in the long run? Not like after you finish talking, after 2 weeks, you're already slagging behind and everything.
Okay, so I feel like when it comes to recruitment, institution really works apart from some of the structures that you've already put in place. Institution helps, right? And getting to know the person personally also helps, right? You know how you can do it. I know that sometimes we do a lot of work, but you need to have a personal touch with this particular person to have it see whether the person can do it or not. However, standard in the terms that we can create like a criteria book in terms of time availability, in terms of what the person currently does. So sometimes people think that we are able for something, but they actually cannot, right? So you need to basically do it yourself. So you need to know what they currently do in terms of their current schedule. You also need to look at some of the other engagement and that would give you a sense of your idea. When they do with first right, sometimes if I've mentioned earlier, they are really right. So you need to just make sure that they have something that they are doing. So sometimes you see it's the responsibility of the organization that is costing the lack, other times it's the person itself. So you need to also know which particular line is coming from. Is it the organization returns that them to proper answer when this person comes in, right? The person is just the person doesn't know what to do next. The person, the right person joins the team, and the team needs to carry the person along. It could be that, right? And other times it could just be that the person is there, and doesn't have time, or the person is committed to the system. Yeah. So I hope that helps when you do that. The other people, the relaxation can also have one of the things.
Yeah. Thank you. So Miriam, can you just quickly touch on it as well? Thank you so much. Then Mary. So Miriam.
Okay. Okay, so that for that question, right, is actually something that is really tasking, especially when you look at it from an HR perspective and when you try to compare it to even other organizations, right? You can have some, maybe you have a particular skill set you are looking for or that you require from people. The first thing you went through their CVs and all of that, and the person feels like a fit for that particular role. And then in the interview, it's very easy for someone like me when I'm going for interview. Even sometimes I apply for a job that I do not qualify for. And you just want to be like, okay, what are the job description and what are the things for me to just come in, say, and all of that. There are some people that are really very smart and very effective that they can actually do well in most interviews, especially interviews that maybe not that does not require technicality and all of that, that you do not need to actually have some practical knowledge and all. So it might not really be easy for you to identify some of those things. I think that's where we have probational period, even in other organizations. When you join in an organization, they give time for them to see how much you can perform in what you have requested or what you have said you can do. And if you are not doing it, it becomes an issue, right? So you there might actually not really be a straight way for you to know. You have your skill sets that you're already looking for. You have those things highlighted. I think EHI, for example, they have a sheet where they mark during interview to see, okay, the person passes this, you pass this, you pass that. It's not everybody that would actually get the work done. Getting NGO, this kind of job, EHI job, ASA job, is that it's more of passion. You have to, for people to actually get the work done, they have to actually have the passion for it. And you might not know till you get to start working with those people. So Dario would always say that you can interview a lot of people, but at the beginning you just be like, you can't do this thing, you are not doing this thing. If you do not have passion for that thing, Dario says if you don't have passion for it, you can't get it done. So it might not be easy for you to actually get to know this at the beginning. So that's my own thoughts about it.
Thank you so much. Mary, I don't know if you're still on the call, Mary. I'm sorry that we've been here for 8 years. So Mary, if you want to answer as well.
Yes, I'm still on the call. I think for me, it's going to be very difficult to find people that will keep to their words. But what I can say is perhaps in the recruitment process, but I know this is what, of course, EI does and a lot of other organizations is checking into the past experiences of the applicants. Because I feel like if you have a testament of your commitment to other things you have done in the past, not necessarily having prior volunteering experience, but just something as simple as leadership positions, and then they can see that you had done something well or you had committed yourself, given your time to it. I feel like that could be so. It should be more about people with experience, not necessarily volunteering experience, but then perhaps experiences relating to taking up leadership roles, leading a team, even work, even school, things that can attest to your diligence and commitment. I feel like that would, aside the passion, that of course should be like a very huge consideration. So I think the experience matters, not necessarily volunteering experience, of course, but I think the experience does matter. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Just basically, I wanted to comment on what I don't know if it's exactly as said, right? Most of us also experience and I was also saying that there's also like a little room for people to have what or why they want to join the organization and just that extra room because you realize that even though we experience at this point that we don't necessarily be able to do that all the ones that are very passionate can for extra room for what they see that why they're saying that Yeah, so I just wanted to comment that now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abisola. All right. I think we'll just take Eitoyo so we can wrap up. I know tomorrow is a work day for many of us. All right, Eitoyo, what's your question?
All right. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So my question is based on the followers' perspective, in the sense that, you know, upon looking at the people that wants to volunteer's profile, looking at their interview, and you feel, oh, these people are potential volunteers. When they come in, they actually have a whole lot to contribute. Now coming in as a leader, you observed that maybe within a week or two, you are not really seeing them starting something. So I want to say something based on some things that I've observed, right, from experience in terms of myself. I'm the kind of person that when I start something, like when I join, it might take me some weeks before I can really get into it and really start something. Although I might be doing few things, but putting my all that moments can't come, in the sense that I'm still trying to blend and all. So I've this type of traits have caused some things with some leaders, in terms of, you know, there are some people that when they come in, the day they come in, you'd have seen them all up, all bouncing, all active. So the issues with the issue I had with some leaders in terms of me taking my time before I can really blend in. Me taking my time before I could really blend in is, you know, when we come newly, for the few days that I join, I'm actually not talking about ASAT, I'm just looking at my volunteering perspective in every way and work generally. They will be like, oh, these people that just started in a few days, and, you know, the moment they've started doing everything, they're already active. It looks like they've been there for years. They tend to focus on those ones and don't really put mind to those that haven't really started something. Like, that patience is not really there to at least hold on for those that are just coming in. Hence, whenever they are taxed or something, they just tend to exempt those people, right? Those people that are taking their time, don't carry them along certain things, you know, like calling, maybe there are some things they want to, you know, speak out. They just only call the names of those people that are up and doing for those few days, and just leave out those that are still taking their time, maybe a week or two, just to observe more things and, you know, blend and see where they can come in. And I feel that this type of thing has actually, you know, made certain people not motivated and just feel, oh, how do they come in? Me, for instance, I've had that situation, and I'll feel, oh, now that I've observed certain things, I don't know how I'm going to now come in and start, you know, doing some things, letting this person know that, oh, there are some things that I can help in, because it's more like I've been put in the outcast book, yeah, that kind of thing. So I just need I need an advice on how people like myself that takes time to just blend and start really putting although we'll do something, but our haul might not be there as expected immediately for the first few days or maybe 2 weeks. So people like me that falls into that outcast group, how do I, like, you know, come in, like letting this person know that, oh, this is it and this is it? Because it's more like sometimes some people that I've worked with, our leaders, don't really have that patience or understanding. Hence, I feel that it has affected many things, because you observe some people just stop, like some people leave because they feel you are not patient enough to really understand them. So people just stay more in the group because you've putting them in the outcast. You don't even call their names again. You don't even call their names at all. You're just focusing on those that just started. And the funniest thing is, I observed that those people that started and didn't really take their time to observe certain things and understand, just started within a week, a month rather, you notice that the energy has died down. Now issues begin. The leader now start having problems of how to deal with things, because these people that started well, the moment they joined, are now, you know, it's more like the energy is no longer there. So I feel that it's a whole lot of issue for the leader and also for the follower. So I don't know. Is it My question is it that the follower is supposed to come in and without really understanding things fully, just be jumping at everything, or the leader is expected to at least be patient for a week or two to really allow these new people to blend in and understand certain things, right? Taking their time to be blending in different aspects without putting them in the outcast group. So I think that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the Adeba. Bayo, you want to answer the question? Bayo, I don't know if any other person wants to answer. Bayo or Miriam. Okay, so Bayo, Miriam. Okay. So Bayo, go first. Yeah,
Okay.
Bayo.
So quick one. First of all, to a leader, you have new people that join and say they can do this, they can do this. Our advice, definitely, there's always a project going on. Why they join? Give them a task. Like the moment you've accepted them into it, give them a task, no matter how small it is. Give them something to challenge themselves, to know, to see what they can do. Yeah, some people might be hiding, they don't know how to come out. But if you are given a task and then probably in your next meeting, even though this task already is going on in the NGO among your team, you can give this new person outside. Let's see what the person brings to the table during your next meeting. And then probably when everybody is done talking, you ask the person, okay, yeah, so based on the task I gave you, what do you have for us? Forget what everybody have said. The person's idea might even be better and easy for everybody. And them contributing in a way based on you've given them a task will actually bring them in gradually. So I would advise you should always give any recruiter, any person you recruit, always give them a task. No matter, there's different departments. So give them a task no matter how small the task is. Give them something that will challenge them, that they can come out to talk about, and you can ask them questions on. So giving tasks is really helped. It really helped when we're in EI. Me and Daria have a way of always giving new people that are not even in the group, give them tasks that have not even joined, and then give them the tasks. We realize they come out and they talk and they can contribute and they have something to talk about. So giving tasks can really help. That's what we can help yourself.
Thank you so much, Adeba. Okay, Miriam.
Okay, yeah, giving a task, yes, that's a good one. But also, I think as a leader, when new people join in, there should maybe be a process to carry people along. Actually, I think that should actually be considered. I know most times there are lots going on at that moment. Maybe there's already a project going on, and you do not actually know how to just cut off. Sometimes they are overwhelmed, even the leaders and all of that. So I just feel like even with the way everything is going, there should just be a way the leader can carry the new people along. Yes, giving them a task is one of the good things to do. You can just like give them something to get doing on that, or maybe in the meeting, I think there's supposed to be a weekly meeting for each unit and each department. There you'll be able to get to introduce yourself, and if you have any questions, even as a follower, you're there asking your leader, and the leader should also use that opportunity to introduce the new member to everybody. I think that would help actually.
Yeah. All right, Bisola. Bisola wants to say something too.
Okay, I think since Miriam and Maria are responsible for the leadership point of view, I'll just speak in terms of doing yourself as an individual, like a little. I know that sometimes it can be very discouraging when you know and feel like everybody just has something to say, and you don't know what to say, you are just going like loving your own. And there's this thing that I always think about when I come into any organization. The first thing I'll ask myself personally is what exactly do I want to achieve? And after knowing that what I want to achieve, I think the next thing that I'm doing is that before everyone there, everything that I'm doing with them, I let them know that I'm going to ask them a question. Like at least one question, say something. In terms of, because this, it brings your confidence level up a bit, and also just introduce people to the room. Right? And I think it's something that you can also do. And also, in addition, you can also just reach out to them to see what it's. Introduce yourself and also ask them to be like, hi, my name is David Chiboyo, and I'm currently volunteer. Is there anything I can help with? Even if you're not feeling good, because you know, sometimes they are very busy, they are really very, if they go want to get things done at that particular period of time, and maybe there is a deadline, right? And so that's when it's like focusing on people that are active, seem to be active at that particular period. So what you can do personally for yourself is reach out to team lead directly and be like, what do you have to do? What exactly do you think I can do to those practices? I see that you're preparing for this. What can I do? So in essence, I'm just going to take initiative, right? I know you're observing the role. You can also come and put in. I'm currently observing the role, but I don't really put any grab what you can do. In fact, I even like it's so many get to know more about what you can color project and what you can take it and you only have I just want to understand what the organization is doing better and how I can come in. That helps me, right? And also builds your confidence in meetings. I never see that even when you go into meetings, you already know what to say because you understand what is happening. Because if you understand what's happening before you even know something substantial to contribute. Right? So I think taking initiative to go a long way instead of just being like, and also the fact is that if you're in any organization, right, like if corporate organization is excellent, just because your boss is not doing work, like you need to act sometimes because at some point you feel like you want to sack it because the fact that you know that you're not contributing to this, it begins to look like part of your hands because at the end of the day you have a KPI or something that they would use to get their end of the period. So you want to do something and contribute and you put different ways to ensure that you contribute to that organization. So taking initiative is what I've just been it's really from your personal point of view, of course you have to ask me more. But yeah.
Thank you so much. So guys, before I allow the speakers just say a few things like more like parting words, I want to beg everyone for something, including the old volunteers and the new volunteers, that we live in a culture where people don't feel like they need to work hard, give their best, especially in terms of whatever it is that they are doing, whether it's even paid or they are volunteering. But for those of us that are working, even in my current place of work, right, at the end of the day, the world only cares about results. And the truth is we need that enabling environment where we can try out things and make mistakes. But as we grow older, certain work environments will not permit you to make certain mistakes, basically, right? So my call to everyone is it might not be EI, it might not be ASAS. Wherever you find yourself, always give your best in whatever it is that you're doing. And it's okay to fail, right? It's okay to fail, but you also have to be able to come in with the lessons, right? For so many years, I used to wonder, okay, what has been the benefit of being able to juggle both ASAS and EHI? My current place of work, there's so much to do. There's so many things to do every single time, and it's really hard. But based on my past experiences, I'm able to juggle so many things at the same time to be able to deliver, even at the level of whatever it is that I'm doing. And it was really nice, hearing Mary say how she's gotten jobs. And there are so many people that are personally seen that, I've gotten jobs to do things. And whenever I'm talking to these people that ask me, I say, see, I've worked with this person. I know what this person can deliver. Do you get? If you want results, I can vouch for this person. And the reason is the fact that, it's not until years later when people start reaching out. And, I'm not doing it because of I want anything in return. It's just the fact that if Nigeria is going to change, one of the visions I had many years ago was the next generation of innovators, like anyone that passes through, EI and ASAT, these people can be able to deliver wherever they find themselves. And just like, everyone has said, nowhere is perfect, right? Each organization have their own issues, and I wanted everybody to be real, like, oh, there's always an issue with me or whatever it is, but it's always going to be an issue to see how things can work. So I want you to always, even wherever you find yourself, always give your best. Don't say no. Don't say it's impossible. Challenge yourself to see how you can make things work. I promise you, nobody wants to pay anybody that will be bringing problems to their company, whether you are volunteering or is paid. Everybody wants solution. The only reason why your company will pay you whatever they are paying you, whether it's $30 million per month, is because you give value worth $30 million. So if you don't like your current pay, are there certifications you can take? Are there things you can do? Are you giving more value than whatever it is they're currently paying you that can allow you to be able to deliver more? And are you also someone that can learn from other people? It's okay not to know everything, but are you humble enough to learn from other people? And so one of the reasons why I gathered everybody here, so that everybody can hear the stories of all of these amazing people that have spoken, but also remind ourselves as to why are you doing what you're doing, right? And the truth is that there has to be a sacrifice of time. Many of us, we have work tomorrow. We'll be here for over 2 hours. We're still here, and I really appreciate it so much. But I don't want this session to be in vain. It's not just even about EA and SARS right now. It's about the need for you to understand the power of structures, like structure your life in terms of whatever it is you want to do. In EA and SARS, there's a calendar a year before. We know when things are supposed to happen. And so it's easy for us to be able to plan ahead. Like have a plan, have a calendar for yourself so that you're able to plan yourself. It's okay to ask questions from other people. We now have ChatGPT, you have AI, but it's okay to ask questions. You get, I can't take credit for all the structures and systems of this organization. It was volunteers like yourself that came in and said, okay, Gary, why don't we do things like this? Why don't we try this? And then we adopted the system, right? Our popular way of raising money right now that we use was Pelumi that came up with it in 2020 or so. And we're able to raise over $1 million during that period. We've used that thing and we've raised over 10 million since 2020 till now in carrying impact projects because of that system. Someone came up with innovation. Do you get? And always reinvent yourself. No year is the same in EA and SARS. At the end of the year, I take some time off, reinvent. How can we reinvent? I was scared when we were closing the houses, like, oh, how we do it, how we come back, because the houses was generating so much money and all of those things. But you have to reinvent yourself every single year. Do you get what I'm saying? And no, there'll be conflict. Like I wrote, conflict is not a bad thing. So please, I don't want us to just talk and then it's not just about EI, not about SAT. It's about you understanding the need to work with like-minded people, even in your business, your relationship. Why do you want to do like people that have no intention of getting you, right? But there's some things you can't control. I can't control people's intention, right? A lot of people come in because of reference letter, certificate, all of those things. But the idea is to create a system where even 100 years after you and I never exist, like we can still keep helping people and you can develop yourself, even when there is no template, right? I didn't have a template. So we have even gotten to a point where we've now become a template that other people are using, and it's amazing, right? Not everyone has the resources or the finances to be able to do things. But even from our own little places, we've been able to do a lot. And it's because of people coming together to see how we can reinvent ourselves into becoming better, basically. So quickly, I just want all the speakers to just quickly, say parting words just to encourage every single person here. So I'll start with Mary, basically. So Mary, after Mary, then Miriam, Abisola, Adelakwa, Bayo, then Temi Vaughn. I know that Abisola maybe she's left, maybe she's more probably sleeping. So yeah, so Mary, what are some of the encouraging words you have for the people, more like parting words? Yeah. Mary Olajide, are you on the call?
Okay, yes, I am. So for
Okay.
me, I think I would just say, just keep giving your best. It might be challenging, but keep forging ahead. It's more rewarding. It's more rewarding. I can attest to that. It's more rewarding, and have a nice volunteering experience.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Bayo.
Okay. I'll say, like she said earlier, put in your best, challenge yourself. You're not getting paid, but you're getting knowledge. And sometimes, trust me, knowledge gets you paid at the long run. That's the truth. You feel like, oh, nobody's paying for this, but you're getting blessing because whatever plan you're putting together, you're trying to make impact in somebody's life. So if you're going to do something, do it well. Don't do it because of doing sake. Don't do it based on, let me just do it. Do it with all your heart. Put in all your efforts because at the long run, it pays in blessing, and there's nothing bigger than being paid in blessing. Even the money you have, money with no blessing is no money. So at the long run, it's paid with blessing. And I always say, when you volunteer, no matter how much they pay you, you might be doing more than what you're supposed to even get paid for. But God is watching, and God is the only one that can pay us whatever we're trying to do to the community and to make impact. So yeah, just put in your best. Do it like you're working for God. Do it like you're going to change somebody's life. Don't do it based on I'm just doing it. Don't do it based on you're not doing it for certificates or this. Do it because you want to do it. You want to touch somebody's life. Put in everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah. Abisola.
Okay, I would just say this, I think that there's always this thing that is in the corporate world. You know, it's very good to waste. And this is just not good for everyone. No experience, your experience is not going to go to waste, trust me. And second, you know, it's having good values system and it's good at this degree. It's one of them to definitely do that. You should be open to whatever you do because people see. And that's something that's like, that's why it's so easy to always keep active at the back of your mind. People see you're connecting with people that would help that, and you would read that one point like one point in life, you know, just never the one for you not mind, but just with someone that never has with your career or something that you will end up doing. So people see, and I think it's about what that I would just say is that once it is experience, that's just any experience, it's part of your story. And at the end of the day, anything that is cost of your time, definitely not to be your best in it and you would say so that you come out the best version of yourself. So give it your best to it, and I'm sure that at the end of the day, you have a beautiful story to tell.
All right, thank you so much. Adedolapo.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so my parting word would be understanding why, like you need to understand why you are volunteering. Just sit down to think about it, like why am I doing this? So I think that would also help you in knowing what you want to achieve. Am I doing this to get certificates? I think Adebayo mentioned something like that. Are you doing it to get certificate? Am I doing it to impact lives? Am I doing it for this? Am I doing it for that? I think that would also guide you in knowing that, oh, I can do this, or I can't do this, or let me just spend 1 month and go. Let's not lie to each other. You know why you want to volunteer. Some people deep down in their mind, they know that this is what they want to get. But they just be during the interview, you just be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm passionate and all of that. But just be honest with yourself. And then understand that I remember that Dara used to say something about you working with EHI, you'll be 10 times above your peers. I didn't realize this thing after a year, right? I didn't only work with EHI, I work with other organizations. So, and at times when I just bring in, what is it called? I drop comments, I bring up initiative and all of that. They wonder, Dolapo, this, I think this is right. And to be honest, I've never worked with any organization and I bring a suggestion and they turn it down. It is always, I think this is a good idea. I think this because I worked with EHI, right? I was able to learn some of these things and impute them in my daily life and I learned a lot. So it's not even about working with Dari, right? It's a leadership thing. If you add a baby, you definitely pamper your baby. You know how it feels having a baby, right? So it's a leadership thing. Just do things with open mind. Don't do things like, oh, Dari this, oh, Dari that, or my team lead this. Just do things with open mind. When you get feedback with open mind. To be honest, it won't be easy for you. You would have challenges. You would have sweet days. You would have rough days. You would have where you just have to like do things so fast in order for everybody to move, right? But then again, just do things with open mind. Don't add emotions to things. Don't be sentimental. I know how it feels because I just finished my tenure like a few months ago, so I can really relate when people tend to come. I still have people call me to reach out to me and say, wow, how were you able to do this? How were you able to overcome that? And I'm always willing to accept and to tell people about all of this. I think Dari knows that about me. If anybody reaches out to me, they want to do something, I will definitely give them that attention because I don't want them to run away because I know that at the end of the day, they will definitely learn. So even if it's 3 months, even if it's 4 months, so far, as long as you know what you are doing, it will show in your trade, it will show in your daily life that you worked with EHI. And it's not just about working with EHI, the life you live after EHI, right? To the extent that if you start sharing your story, you definitely go back to EHI. So that's why I say you need to define what you are, why are you working with EHI? As long as you're able to define that, then after working with EHI, you'll be able to go back. It will take you back to this was what I was able to achieve, this was what I was not able to achieve. So that's my own comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Adedolapo. Then Miriam.
Okay, so for me, I would say whenever you feel tired, that's for those that actually want to work, like you want to do it, or you came here for a purpose. When you feel tired, just think about the end goal, think about the beneficiaries, think about the smile on their face that you would see on their face. Think about how happy they would be at the end of the day when you actually complete that project. And just let that be something that would actually push you to want to do more or get there. And if you actually feel tired at any point or you think you cannot continue, please take a break. You don't have to like say it's a do or die affair. If you think you cannot continue, take a break. However, always think about the beneficiary, and it can be something that will just motivate you to say, yes, you can actually do it. You want to see that project actually successful. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Miriam. Then Timmy Vaughan.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay. For me, I think I would say that I think in life, if you need to decide yourself why you're doing what you're doing, right? There are various reasons why people want to volunteer. And it's up to you to really sit. I think Adedolapo mentioned that, or someone mentioned that, right? It's up to you to sit down with yourself and be sincere and genuine with yourself. But the minute you have chosen to volunteer for whatever reason at all, decide in your mind, first and foremost, you joining the organization, you already know what the organization wants. So you need to be sincere with yourself. Do I have the time to give this to the organization? Now, if you don't have the time to, or you are really interested in volunteering, you can say, okay, EI or SADS is not a place that, because of the limited time that I have, let me go and look for another organization that I won't have to spend so much time or I won't have to do. But when you're coming into a place, understand, because one thing that I realized is that when volunteers come, they want to change the system. But when you're coming into an organization, you are coming there understanding that this is what they expect of me. So come with that mind, right? And if you know you need to be sincere with yourself, you know that you don't have the time for this, then just, maybe quit, and then you can even see how we apply again and then join another organization that might not demand so much of your time the way we do. But honestly, I don't think you should do anything without volunteering. I don't think you should do anything without serving. Give of yourself, because you are developing your skills, your mindset, your knowledge, your capacity. You are helping yourself, right? And the good thing is, as you are helping other people, you are helping yourself. I think that's why if you're a Christian, God talks a lot about giving, because he knows that as you are doing for others, you are indirectly and directly doing for yourself, right? And especially if you're interested in leaving the shores of Nigeria, if you don't volunteer, they're not going to open their doors to you. You need to volunteer. You need to show them that you are a volunteer. Now I'm saying this now, some people now, and there are people who set up organizations because they know they want to travel. They just set up an organization to do something, right? So that they will apply. And people do that and they're not concerned about the organization, but just because they want to travel out and show that they have volunteering experience, they do that. There are a number of people who do several things. But the honest truth is that when you volunteer genuinely and sincerely, you'll be happy with yourself, you'll develop yourself, and it's just something about giving back, right? And be sincere with yourself. If you know that you are in a state in your life where you don't have the capacity yet, maybe because you are still struggling, or you want to take out time to first of all work on yourself and then come back and give. But please, whatever you are doing, make sure that you are giving, make sure you are serving, make sure you are volunteering, right? And I definitely wish you all the very best. ASAT EI is a good place to volunteer and grow, right? So I wish you all the best. And it's really, really nice to see everyone, Bayo, Bisola, Bisoye. It's really nice to see you guys. And even the ones I don't know, the new guys, Ade or Apple, you sound like a very enthusiastic person. I didn't meet you. Miriam, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Demi. Thank you so much, everyone. And I just want to say thank you to all the speakers, even those that have left. Thank you so much, Bayo. Thank you so much, Abisola. Thank you so much, Abisoye. Thank you, Adedolapo. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Timmy. And thank you to all our participants, right? This is available on YouTube, so we can go back and rewatch. God bless you all, and do have a wonderful night rest. Thank you. Good night.